Welcome back to GTA and the second training video for this new F-160 Raiju jet. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the maneuverability of this jet, like if you dive down and pull up too hard, so if you make a sharp turn you will lose a little bit of stability of your jet, you will lose speed and energy. So I've come up with a few things how to avoid that and how to hold your jet stable at all times. Now before we begin, I want to say I noticed, I forgot to tell you in the first training video, which I recommend watching, that this jet also has these green lights on the sides there and also on the sides on the vertical stabilizers when you're not in stealth mode. If you are in stealth mode, it won't show that. I didn't notice that the last video because that was like the first minutes that I played in this jet. So right now I have a little bit of experience in the maneuverability of this jet, so I will explain. Now VTOL mode is vertical takeoff landing, and this is pretty straightforward. Record is really stable, don't have to explain that. But if you want to go in CTOL mode, like in PlayStation that's holding your L3 or landing gear button, then you will go to conventional takeoff and landing mode, CTOL. So it's just straightforward taking off. Now, taking off itself is also straightforward. It's just accelerating and pulling up, but do it gently, so your tail won't hit the ground. Like, it doesn't really do damage, but it just feels and looks better. Now, let's say you want to make a left turn. Then it's best to not do this. Like, if you're not in combat, you can do this. Like, just pull your jet sideways and let it slide. But then you're going really slowly to the left side. Really slowly. Of course you can pull up a little bit and use your rudder too, so you go faster. That's what you have to do. If you want to make a turn, let's say right now, you pull your jet sideways, you make your pilot look at the direction you want to go to, then pull up and use your rudder. Do those three at the same time. Like first sideways and then rudder and pull up immediately. And you'll make the fastest turns as possible. However, if you have a certain speed, and you do that, you might find yourself in this situation. You see that? I turned sharply, so my jet stalled a little and it fell back. So I lost a little bit of speed there. Now, to avoid that, you can better do it more, well, slowly, if you will. So you can either pull up less hard or brake a little. Like if I pull hard but brake a little before I start turning, I start brake a little bit and then turn, then you don't have that. So the same thing with diving down. If you dive down really fast and you pull away, this happens. It stalls and it falls back, and now I've lost a lot of speed. So what you can better do is if I come from high up, so remember for the first training video, or videos if you count the laser training video as well, then I'm now at 2,000 feet of altitude. So let's dive down. You see, the first person, it's already a bit more difficult, so that happens too. Now if you dive down, just pull less hard, just hold more stable. It's not necessarily, it's a little bit slower if you brake and then pull up, but if you find yourself in a combat situation or if you almost crash to the ground, it's still better if you just remain calm and still do it more calmly. Then you won't fall back and you won't hit the ground in the worst case scenario. Or you can just brake. So start braking. I'm already braking here and then pulling up. Then I can pull as hard as I can and I still won't stall and fall back. See that? So those are two things you can do. Either you pull less hard or you brake more. But you have to brake before you start pulling up. So you drain your energy, so you drain your speed before you start pulling. So I'm already braking here, but in taps, because if you hold your brake down, your engine falls out. Just accelerate again and it will turn back on. Now I'm not sure how fast your engine actually fails. 1, 2, I think it's about 2 seconds. So you have to train yourself in braking as much as possible and staying under the 2-second limits, and do it in taps like this. If you can hear that through my mic, then you see I do it in taps. You can do it a bit slower too and just brake longer. Just remain under that 2 seconds. or how long it may be, so your engine won't fail. You see that? I'm braking now in slow taps, really slow taps, like this. And my engine won't fail. That's a good way to reduce your speed. So if you dive down now, I'm gonna brake before I pull up, but I'm gonna pull as hard as I can, okay? So I'm gonna dive down, I'm gonna brake, and I'm pulling as hard as I can. So you see, I didn't lose my stability. That's what you can do if you like flying down, you want to go back up, do it slowly. And brake a little bit. Braking is very important for this jet, because this jet is actually pretty fast. So if you're turning, it's better to not go too fast. Like, use your brakes. Only in some situations, only when flying up, you can use your engine a little bit to go faster. But if you're going down, you don't have to accelerate because the gravity does it for you. Best you can do is brake and pull up, not too hard, so you can make a sharp turn and still a fast turn. So you don't. The faster you're turning, well, the better, of course. But it depends both on the radius you're turning in and also the speed. So going slower is better, because if you go slower, you can make sharper turns, but you also need to maintain a little bit of speed to complete that trajectory. So you need to find the balance between the turning radius and your speed. You still need a bit of speed to make the circle fast, like this. Like for loopings, for instance, if you want to make a looping, you can do that. Now what I do if I make a looping is I tilt my plane to one side. Let's say I want to make a looping to the left now, like normal people or a lot of people do it just straightforward like this, but I do it with my rudders. Let's say if you want to make a left vertical looping, I tilt my plane a bit like this and then do L1, so that compensates for that rudder there, and then pull up, and then I can do a faster looping. See that? So always use your rudders while you're turning. Remember from the first part of this video, turn your plane sideways, your rudder, and pull up. As you can see, I've done it too hard now, so brake more and don't pull too hard, and then you can make a really stable and sharp turn. That's also useful in specific situations, but the combat video will be later on. Now, as you can see, this jet's pretty stable. There's of course also some turbulence, but every plane has that. This plane is actually quite vulnerable for that, more like the laser, but nothing special. We are used to that in GTA, right? Turbulence. So as you can see, really stable, really calm things. Now if you want to make a looping, it's better to brake when going down and accelerate a bit more when you're going up to compensate for gravity. See that? And you have to find the perfect point in this circle, because I'm making a vertical circle now. You have to find the perfect spot of when you have to brake and accelerate. If you feel like you're losing too much speed, you can accelerate, and if you feel like you're not turning sharp enough, you can brake a little bit. See that? Now this was a wrong one, but you get the point, right? Brake when you're going down and accelerate a little bit when you go up. This jet is already fast, so it's more braking. I start braking pretty soon. Like already start braking here, so we can make sharp turns. You see that? Also in first person. Let's make a looping. This is where I start braking. This is where I accelerate a little bit in taps, also braking in taps. See how fast it goes? It also looks really good. It feels really good. That's how you should fly this jet. So if you want to train yourself in that, just do these things what I told you. So just brake, and then pull your jet sideways, and use your rudder and pull up. So if you have a lot of speed, first what you have to do before you turn is brake, before you turn. Then you tilt your plane sideways, your rudder, and pull up. And train yourself so you can get used to that, so you don't have to think about it anymore like I do. Like sometimes I also want to do a fast turn and I still like lose this energy, like to turn too sharply, but it's just a matter of training, and it's just a matter of getting this plane used. Like you have to get used to this plane. But this is a really cool jet. It looks cool, it flies great. Now there have been some thoughts about which is better, dogfighting. Like, I think the laser might still be better. However, this thing has features like VTOL, and it might actually be faster in some circles. But of course, the combat circles I will be explaining in the next video, because that's for combat flying and not for basic flight maneuvers. This video was only about basic flight maneuvers, how to turn better and how to keep your plane under control. Now, the last thing I want to say is you want to train yourself in controlling like this jet. As you can know, just do a few turns, keep turning a little bit, and use gravity. Like, you can use a few circles, you can go sideways or up or down, just roll a little bit like this and make a few turns and see if you can control your aircraft. Use your rudders a lot. Always use your rudders while turning. You're always turning towards the side. Even if you're making a vertical looping, you're turning towards one side. Now I'm doing towards the left side looping. Now I'm going to do one towards the right. See that? Always use the rudders. Train yourself in that, fly low for a bit, maneuver a lot as you can, just get used to this jet. And keep in mind the tips that I gave you, how to control this jet best. Also, if you want to come to a quick stop, use VTOL mode. It stops really quickly. It's really cool. So yeah, that's that for you. The basic flight maneuvers for this new F-160 Raiju jet. Thanks for watching. See ya next.